I'm Roy from Roy's Garage. Today I'm going to be working on a 2007 Toyota FJ Cruiser 4.0 liter automatic. I'm going to show you how to replace the rear pads and rear rotors. These are the tools I'm going to be using today to do this job. A hood prop, rubber mallet, 4-pound sledgehammer, flat tip screwdriver, another flat tip screwdriver, 17mm wrench, 10mm wrench, my piston caliper compressor, Phoenix brake flusher, air gun, brake clean, penetrating oil, ceramic grease, anti-seize, suction ball, bottle of water with a hole on it. These are the parts I'm going to be using today to do this job. Rear brake pads, rear rotors, and a .3 brake fluid. Okay, so first I'm going to be removing this rubber cap. Then I'm going to be loosening up this bleeder screw. Okay, and I'll tighten it back up. So I'm going to be removing this caliper. So there's two bolts, right here and one there. So I'm going to be removing that. Okay, so just gonna leave the caliper right here. Removing these brake pads, just pry it out. Okay. So there's two mounting bolts, one here and one here. We got to remove that. So I'm going to be removing the rotor. It looks like it's stuck. So I'm going to be shooting some penetrating oil around the hub, right into the wheel studs. Now we're going to try to hit it. So this is the rear rotor. If you notice, this is coated. Leave the coating on. When you road test the vehicle, you're gonna hear a grinding sound. The coating is gonna come off. As it comes off, then the grinding sound is going to go away. Then you're good to go. So for now, I'm gonna be cleaning up the rotor, making sure there's no oil on the rotor. So now I'm going to be compressing this piston using my piston compressor. Okay, before I compress it in, I'm going to open up the bleeder screw, and as I compress it, all the brake fluid is going to come out. You don't want this dirty brake fluid going up to the master. Okay, so I'm going to be putting my rotor on, but before I put my rotor on, put some anti-seize around the hub. That way the rotor won't get stuck on the hub. So I'm going to be putting my rotor on. What we can do now is adjust the emergency brake shoe. Right now it's a little on the loose side. There's a star adjuster over here. What I need to do is expand the shoe a little. And then from there we gotta kind of fit it in. Okay, so we're going to be putting on the rotor. So now I'm going to be lubricating my caliper mount. Putting some grease right in here. So I'm going to be greasing my hardware. There's new hardware in the kit. If your old hardware is still good, reuse it. Because sometimes if you put the ones in from the kit, it doesn't fit good and it wants to come off. So if your old hardware is still good, just reuse it. Okay, so I'm going to be bolting up the caliper mount. So I'm going to be cleaning these pins. Putting a little grease on the pins. So this is the old pad that's very thin. This is a new pad. The thickness difference. So I'm going to be putting some grease in the back of the inboard pad. Just put a little. Greasing up the caliper. Put a little bit on the piston, a little bit on the caliper. Put it on. Okay, so now we're going to flush out the brake system. So I'm going to be sucking out my brake fluid. Just suck out as much as you can. So I'm going to be flushing out my brake system. So I'm going to be using my Phoenix brake flusher. I'm going to be opening up the bleeder screw, and I'm going to be pumping in fresh fluid from the caliper up to the master. So now I'm going to be removing the brake fluid again. So I'm going to be topping off the master cylinder. So I'm going to be starting up the vehicle. Now I'm going to be pumping the brake up and down, no more than halfway until I feel pressure. Well, it feels really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be pressurizing the brake system with my hood prop. So I'm going to be positioning my hood prop against the brake pedal and the seat. So I'm going to be opening up my bleeder screw. Make sure there's no air in the system. But that looks good. So I'm going to be pressurizing my brake system again. Okay, I'm going to be shooting some water on my bleeder screw, blowing it down. And then just wait about maybe 15-20 seconds, and then make sure this guy is not leaking. Okay, so now this bleeder screw looks really dry, so you're good to go. Don't forget to put your rubber plug back. So that's how you replace rear brake pads and rear rotors. If you have any questions, comment below. Don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and I see you in the next video. Aloha.